ladies and gentlemen, I am back for another video, and guess what? It is Wine and Wigs Wednesday. Clink, clink, clink. Today's video, y'all see I got this bob going. This is like my Kim Johansson, Kim J, the real Kim J sort of bob. I got the baby hairs going. You know how she does with the baby hairs. But this is like a beginner's wig making video. So if you have never made wigs before and you want to go ahead and try it, this video is for you. Shake and Go reached out to me and they were like, girl, we got this new innovation. This new innovation is called the Shake and Go closure cap. The closure cap is a cap with a closure already attached. Boom, done. And you don't have to do anything except sew the wig onto the cap. And I don't know if you've experienced this before, but when I put a closure on my wig head, especially when I was starting out, it was hard to figure out where to place it. Sometimes you rip your closure if you're not doing it correctly. Trying to figure out where you're going to put it in place and pin it down with them T-pins, girl. So this closure cap makes everything so much easier. Now, let me actually show you what the cap looks like. As you can see, the closure is already attached. On the inside, you can see that there are 3 combs, 2 on the side, 1 at the bottom. And above that bottom comb, you see that there's an additional elastic band. Now, that elastic band is for people with small heads like me. My head is a pea head. It's the size of a piece of corn. And for those of us that have bigger heads, you can cut out that strap and wear the cap as is. Also, it comes with this rubberish lining that creates traction on your head so the wig doesn't slide off. Of course, you know I wear wig grips. I live with the wig grips, but now with this, I mean literally this wig is not going anywhere. So this wig is completely secure on me because of that rubber cushion lining. Oh, that's fancy. So the closure cap was in 14 inches, and then there are 3 bundles in 14, 16, and 18. So I'm going to show you a few clips of how I made this wig, give you a little bit of a tutorial, and then we'll be back. First, we're going to place the closure cap onto the wig head and then just put the hair away so it doesn't get in the way of when we actually sew down the hair onto the cap. We're starting off with our 18-inch bundle and putting the first track and placing it down and pinning it to the mannequin head. I am making sure I'm taking the needle and thread and pushing it through the cap and then through the track, just to make sure that edge is secure. I'll do that about 2 or 3 times to make sure that track is secure on the edge. And then I will just continue to loop the needle through the cap and then under the track. And I'll do this all the way over until we get to the edge of the track. The first track is always the hardest, so take your time. There's no rush, especially if it's your first time doing a wig. Okay, now that we're at the end, we're going to do the same thing. We're going to make sure we take that T-pin out, push the needle through the cap and then through the track 2 or 3 times to make sure it's secure before we place the needle aside, and then flip the track over because we're not cutting our wefts. Make sure you use your T-pins to hold the track in place so you don't lose your spot and have that track moving around. So we're just going to go back through and push the needle through the cap and then through the weft again, and then for like 1 or 2 times. And then we're just going to continue to go through the cap and under the track. It makes it easier to just sew once you do that in the middle, but once you get to the ends of the track, when you're securing it, just make sure you go through the track just to make sure everything's tight, because those edges can get pretty loose if you don't do this process. As you can see, I'm pushing it through the cap, then through the track, then flipping over once again. Using those T-pins to hold the tracks in place. and starting back over again at the edge, pushing through the cap, through the track 2 or 3 times, then through the cap and under the track as you move through the middle of the track. Once we get to the end, we're securing it once again. It's a loop process, and once you get the hang of it, it's so easy. As you can see, I've finished one bundle. That was all of my 18-inch. If we moved on to the 16 inches, I've skipped through the process of going through the whole middle process because it's the same way all the way up, but this is what you're going to do when you get around the closure. You're making sure you're getting as close to the closure as possible, but not too close because it can hype the closure up. I'm just pinning down the track just to make sure everything's secure and it's in place. And then I'm taking my trusty needle here and pushing under the cap through the track 2 or 3 times. And now I'm just looping it through. So through the cap, under the track until we get all the way around. I sped it up because it should be self-explanatory now, but I'm hoping I'm not skipping any steps. And we're just going to follow that all the way around. Well, I get pretty tired once I get through the top, so these loops are pretty large. But as long as your edges are secure, you're okay. And just keep those T-pins in until you're done. With the track, of course. So I'm looping all the way to the end. And since this is the very last track, we're going to make sure it's double secure, pushing through the cap, through the track 2 or 3 times like we've been doing. And then the last loop, we're going to push through. And then I cut it and then tie the thread in a knot. And then I cut the track as well. Now we're at the part where we're customizing the closure. I'm parting it in the middle and then parting out a little sliver of hair that I can pluck out. And I do this with every one of my wigs to pluck the part and make it look more realistic. Make sure you don't pull out big chunks because it can make a hole in the lace. Now we're just going to flatten out and change the direction of the hair. I want to have a middle part, so I spray it down with some conditioner and water and brush it down. And once the hair has dried, I place some concealer on the closure as well as cut off that excess lace as well. I'm turning the cap inside out and I'm adding some Pro Concealer to the inside of the cap, and now I am trimming the ends of the wig. I missed some of the footage of cutting the hair, but you get the point. I chopped it off and now I'm just trimming it to make sure it's all even. And it still wasn't even, girl. I tried my best. And we're all done. Now that we're back and you can see that the wig is done, she's secure. So this thing is just easily customizable and I absolutely love it. I definitely recommend that you pick this up, especially if you're a beginner with doing wigs. That is basically it. If you do have any questions about the Shake and Go closure cap, please leave them down below. I will leave all of Shake and Go's information in the description box below. Please make sure you subscribe to my channel as well. I never ask y'all to do it. That's probably why y'all should do it anyway. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in my next video, and that is going to be for Synthetic Saturdays. It's going to be a new addition to the channel. So I love you. Thank you so much for watching, and cheers. Clink, clink, clink. Love you.